Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Good afternoon, this Friday afternoon. Welcome to Talking Politics. I am your host, Robert Press. I write for the Bronx Chronicle, as you can see by my official New York City press card. I also contribute to the Co-op City News and Parkchester Times. The latter, like this show, is part of Muslim Media Corporation. I also have a blog at www.100%bronx.blogspot.com and Facebook pages 100% and What is Going On in Your Community Board. The views expressed on this show are that of the host, any guest, or any commentator whose words may scroll across the bottom of your screen, and not necessarily that of Muslim Media Corporation. On to the weather today is a beautiful sunny day with a high going up to about 54. Tomorrow, Saturday, we get only up to 47 with afternoon rain, which will get windy and heavier overnight. Sunday, it'll get up to 51, drying out. Monday, 48 with sunny, getting into the upper 50s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And don't forget, that daylight savings time begins at 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Okay, let's get into some politics. Last night was the State of the Union address by President Joe Biden. It lasted over about 1 hour and 2 minutes to show that Biden could last. He called it America's comeback, a takeoff of Donald Trump's Make America Great Again. While Biden took multiple swipes at Trump, he never mentioned him. His remarks referred to him as my predecessor. When it came to Biden getting cheaper prescriptions, he miscued saying, get them from Russia, it's 40% cheaper, and then he corrected himself. In the middle of his speech, he lost his place during a sentence, and then he had a comeback. There was a heckler in the audience who caused a disturbance during the speech, who was Gold Star father Steve Nickley, whose son was killed during the Afghan pullout. He was removed and later arrested. However, the biggest applause came when Biden said, let me close with this. The applause was the best there. But one network has said that Biden stumbled over a few words, and in the Republican response, Senator Kate Britt of Alabama called him dithering and diminished. But it was a more vigorous performance than other speeches where his remarks can be meandering or hard to hear. Biden said his administration will build a temporary pier off the coast of Palestine to territory to facilitate deliveries. And he also urged Congress to unblock the aid for Ukraine that the country is fending off the Russian invasion. Next item, let's go to Donald Trump. As you know, the Supreme Court on Monday restored him to the 2024 presidential ballot primary, rejecting states' attempts to ban the Republican former president over the Capitol riot. Trump had been kicked off the ballots in Colorado, Maine, and Illinois, but all three rulings were on hold awaiting the Supreme Court decision. The justices ruled that the states cannot invoke a post-war constitutional provision to keep presidential candidates from appearing on ballots. That power resides only with Congress. The court wrote in an unsigned opinion. Trump posted on his social media network shortly afterwards. This is a big win for America. Trump's case was the first at the Supreme Court dealing with a provision of the 14th Amendment that was adopted after the Civil War to prevent former office holders who engaged in insurrection from holding office again. The court held that states may bar candidates from state office, but have no power under the Constitution to enforce Section 3 with respect to federal offices, especially the presidency, the court wrote. Now, Republican Congress members from New York have been slow to back presidential candidate now, Donald Trump, which I'll get into a little later why he's the presidential candidate. Congresswoman Elsie Stefanik, who represents the 21st Congressional District here in New York and serves as chair of the House Republican Conference, has been one of Trump's biggest allies in New York from the very beginning. She endorsed his re-election bid way back in November 2022, a few days before he formally launched his 2024 campaign. Trump appears satisfied with Stefanik's loyalty, and rumors are now circulating that she is a possibility on Trump's short list for vice president. As for the rest of the Republican Congress delegation in New York, they should all now be supporting former President Trump for president, since Nikki Haley has suspended her presidential campaign on Wednesday after being soundly defeated across the country on Super Tuesday, which leaves Donald Trump as the last remaining major candidate for the 2024 Republican nomination. Out of the 15 state primaries, Haley only won Vermont. She didn't endorse Donald Trump, the former president. Instead, she challenged him to win the support of moderate Republicans and independent voters who supported her. Haley, a former South Carolina governor and UN ambassador, was Trump's first significant rival when she jumped into the race in February of 2023. Her departure clears Trump to focus solely on his rematch in November with President Joe Biden. Haley has made it clear she doesn't want to serve as Trump's vice president or run on a third-party ticket. She leaves the race in an elevated position, with a national profile that could help her in a future presidential run in 2028, when either Trump or Biden, whoever wins in 2024, would be term limited out of office. Locally in the 16th congressional district, the challenger George Latimer to incumbent Congressman Jamal Bowman said that he now supports President Biden's temporary ceasefire that can bring home all the hostages and get humanitarian aid to Gaza. On to the New York subways. Governor Hochul had a 5-point plan for the subways. She announced a 5-point plan, and here are the highlights. She has 1,000 New York State Police, MTA Police, and New York National Guard to support the NYPD bag checks. Governor Hochul introduces a bill to allow judges to ban individuals convicted of assault within the transit system from services. I thought we had that already, that they banned people who committed crimes on subways. Governor also is to convene a new subway violence strategic partnership to improve coordination between the state, the NYPD, and district attorneys. And she wants to expand the subway outreach initiative programs that will operate in addition to the Safe Options support teams. To supplement New York City's police department, on their enhanced baggage checks at heavily trafficked areas, Governor Hochul is deploying 1,000 members of state personnel to assist the NYPD. This includes 250 members from the New York State Police and the MTA Police and 750 National Guardsmen. Now, there were photos of National Guardsmen in the papers yesterday where they're holding semi-automatic rifles or weapons standing at subway station entrances, and people were getting scared when they see the National Guard standing there with, their guns. Now, let's talk a little about crime stats, okay? The New York City Police Department announced the February 2024 crime stats citywide. It says, this month sees significant crime reductions in the nation's largest subway system. Sustained drops in shootings, homicides, and overall crime citywide. I personally don't know where they got these figures. I'm from the Bronx, and I'll tell you our Bronx figures a little later. Incidents of shootings, murder, and other bellwether crimes in New York City were markedly reduced again in February compared to the same month last year. While major offenses committed in the city subway system dropped more than 15%. Sure, that's why they have National Guardsmen there. Throughout the 5 boroughs, overall crime continued its downward trajectory, dropping another 1.1%. However, here in the Bronx, it was up 2.5% for the same period. Across the city in February, the number of shootings decreased 15.9%. There were 53 compared to 63 the year before, resulting in 16 fewer people shot. That counts 10. Also, there were 10. Let me go back. I'm getting like Joe Biden, unfortunately. There was a 19.8% reduction, 65 to 81 in the Bronx. All the number of shootings were 23, a rise of 4 or 27.8%, while shooting victims in the Bronx were 33, a rise of 10 or 43%, which was not in these citywide figures because shooting victims probably went up. The category of grand larceny also dropped another 13% in February, logging the third such reduction in as many months. 203 fewer vehicles were stolen in New York City during the opening months of 2024 compared to the same period in 2023. In the Bronx, 297 cars were stolen in 2024 so far, compared to 400 in the same period for 2023, a drop of 103, or almost half of the city's total, due to the all-out in the Bronx to combat auto theft. Grand larceny was up in the Bronx with 622 reported in February compared to 527 in February 2023, for an increase of 18%. To combat an earlier transit spike of crime, the NYPD in February surged an upward of 1,000 police officers per day into the nation's largest and most traveled subway system, resulting in a 15.4 drop in crime compared to the same month a year ago. In the Bronx, though, subway crime was up 30.8%, and Governor Hochul, like I said, has added 1,000 state police and National Guard to supplement the city police department on the subways. Here are the crime figures broken down by precinct in the Bronx. Murder was 6 for the 28-day period ending March 3rd, to 9 the past year, or a 33% decrease. However, that appears, and auto theft appear to be the only thing going down in the Bronx. Rapes, there were 30 in 2024, the same period, 28 days, compared to the 2023 of 29, which is an increase of 3.4%. Robberies were up from 278 in 2023 to 304 in 2024, or 9.4% increase. Felonious assaults were up from 506 in 2023 to 523 in 2024, or 3.4 increase. Burglary was up from 222 to 239, an increase of 7.7% over the previous year. Grand larceny was up from 527 in 2023 to 622 in 2024, or an increase of 18%. Like I said, grand larceny auto was down from 420 in the previous year to 297 this year so far, which is down 25.8%. And I want to say that I have purchased a new car, and I was told, do not get a car with a key ignition, get one with a push button ignition, because that is harder to steal. So that could be another reason that the new cars have a push button ignition, so that they can't use the key to get in. Totals for the 28-day period, it was 1,971 crimes in 2023 compared to 2,021 in 2024, an increase of 2.54%. Now, these figures weren't included, and in transit here in the Bronx, there were 26 crimes in last year. In the same period, 28-day period, there were 34 this year, an increase of 30.8%. And yesterday, there was a person stabbed at the Pelham Parkway station, among other crimes that have occurred in the few days of March. In housing, crime was down from 121 last year in the same period to 111, a decrease of 8%. Like I said, shooting incidents in the Bronx were 18 in the 28-day period compared to 23 this year, an increase of 27%. And like I said, shooting victims was from 23 last year to 33 in the same period, or an increase of 43.5%. Here is the breakdown by precinct. The Bronx, like I said, for the 28-day period, which will be first, was up 2.54%, and year to date, the increase in crime has been 4.79 over last year. The 40th precinct for the 28-day period, up 21.39%, year to date, up 16.86%. We will now get into a few precincts where crime has gone down, where there's been an increase of officers. The 41st is down 6.19% for the 28-day period, or 7.38 for the year to date. 42nd down 12.42 in 28 days, but it's still up 0.84% from the beginning of the year. 43rd precinct down 10% for the period, and down 19.10 for the year to date. 44th down 19.77 and down 16.61. 45th down 14.38 and down 1% for the year. 46th is up 21% and up 7% for the year. 47th down 10.24%, 28 days, up 7.13. 48th is up 17.42% for the 28-day period, and they are up the highest year to date at 33.1%. However, for the 28-day period, the 49th precinct has the largest increase of almost 54%, while they're up 32.5% for the year. The 50th precinct is up 21% almost, and for the 28-day period, and 22% for the year. 52nd is at 10%, a little over 10% for 28 days, and almost at 19% for the year to date. Now go to your precinct council meetings and question your precinct commanding officers if crime is up in your precinct. And if it's down, you should thank them that crime is down. And we're at the point where I want to go to a break, and then I'll introduce my guest, Mr. Darnie Caborn. And let's go to our commercial right now. I see Kevin's comment there, but let's go to our commercial.
In a world where the quality of information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted, and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions, it is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, finances, health, security, politics, and more. We strive to curb violence, racial and economic discrimination, and to promote peace and socio-economic development of multiculturally diverse world. As we give voice to the people, we also give your business a voice and make it heard. Get your products and services off the ground by advertising on our fast-growing platform. With so much of daily visits to New York Parrot, you can't afford to be invisible to prospective clients on the website they trust the most. Our posts reach millions of people across the New York State and around the world. Advertising on our new site will unlock an audience of thousands of potential customers on your doorstep. New York Parrot is born to prosperously speak tomorrow for the voiceless.
Welcome back. I see my guest is here, but he's not on the screen. So let me just quickly talk about the city council budget hearings. It appears that they're talking about Rikers. They want Rikers closed the city council by 2027. However, Budget Director John Jaha says that there is no way that the city can close Rikers Island by 2027. The Brooklyn jail and other jails have no. I see my guest, but let me finish this first before I introduce my guest. And the city's jail population currently is 6,167. And the new jails have been increased to 4,160 capacity, which is still 2,000 short to house the current population. And they say that the Brooklyn and other borough-based jails will not be completed until 2029. They also have a difference on the budget gap. The council says that they have $3 million extra, and Controller Lander projects a 3.3 gap. Now, let me introduce, I see my guest is talking, so let me introduce Danny Caborn Rivers. Danny, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we don't have your picture, but we have you talking. So let me ask you a question. Now,
Yes.
you were a candidate in the 14th City Council District last year. Now, I've been told that you haven't been paid yet. Is that correct?
No, I haven't been paid yet. I have to go all the way to civil court to try to get payment.
That's terrible, because we see that occasionally by candidates, where people have worked for them, and then when the campaign is over, they don't get paid. So, can you tell us a little bit more about what you did for the candidate and who the candidate is?
Well, the candidate is Rachel Brasher, and she was running for councilwoman in District 14. But the whole thing is that, you got to figure that me, myself, I know how to deal with people, and I'm 55 years old. I've been around, born and raised in the Bronx. But for the average person that's going through this and working hard and trying to really believe in these politicians, that's a bad look. Because even if, she was to get elected, if you get elected, I mean, what you gonna do? The same thing that you're doing now? You know what I'm saying? Which was really a misjustice to somebody that really know what's going on. And it was people that was out there that really was, they was crying and going through all type of situations and looking at me because I was the person that was with her every day. So even to some of these people, I went inside my pocket and gave some of these people a couple of dollars personally because I didn't know what was going on and I didn't want to be left as the person that was with her every day and don't know what's going on.
So in other words, it's other people too that weren't paid.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of people that was out there. We got to take this as if we stepping up and we want to be leaders in the community and we want people to invest in us and believe in us, man. We got to be righteous and we got to lead in a righteous way. We got to treat people like we want to be treated. And that's what I see with a lot of the politicians, especially the Bronx politicians, because most of them come from the community until they get elected.
Mm-hmm.
They from the community, they with you 100%. Once they get elected, they move to Thrives Neck, they move to Riverdale, and then they no longer care about the community in which they came from. They move their parents out, they move everybody out that has anything that exists or have anything to do with the community. And they move on up like the Jeffersons to the east side, and they forget about the community.
Well, they have to, for the council, the assembly, and state senate, they have to live in their district. And with redistricting, there were a couple of people who had to move from one area to another in order to be in their new district. I'll tell you that.
All right. Well, this one thing now I want you to do, being that you on the news, I want you to have a poll. I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I was born in 1968. I'm still in the Bronx to today. And I'm on the street every day because, I got my nonprofit organization and my community. I would like you to do a survey and have people tell me which one of these people live in our community and what community and on what block. Because don't forget, words speak like everything. People take pictures. We have internet. If a politician lived on your block, you'll be like taking pictures with them. You'll be showing them on the internet. You'll be saying this. None of these people live in our community. Let's stop that false conception, that false reality that they keep putting out there. None of these people live in our community. These people used to live in our community. They live nowhere near our community, but still try to judge our community and be in control of our community.
No, it's not only the politicians, but some community boards too, which I've been going after on Community Board 11. And I have pinned down one person who then claimed that I did unethical things when I was on Community Board 11, which is totally untrue. I'm seeking a lawsuit against him for libel because when I spoke to former Borough President Diaz, he said, no, you did nothing wrong on Community Board 11. I just didn't reappoint you. I didn't fire you. When you're fighting.
Let me jump in there real quick. First of all, they have nobody want to get on the community board of that because of that same thing that you just said. Right now, they have Vanessa Gibson, who's the Bronx Borough President, and she's in control of the community board. I'm supposed to be on my community board. She denied me to be on the community board, even though I was born and raised in the Bronx for 55 years, going on 56. She denied me. I was in the Bronx before her. And she denied me being on the community board, but now she's putting out things saying that it's not enough people coming to the community board. We want to extend the application for the community board. Nobody don't want to get on the community board because they don't want to be controlled by her in the system.
I don't want to say anything bad about the borough president. I've applied for Community Board 11, and I'm on 2 of their committees as a community member. I'm the only person from the district. So normally that's a prerequisite to being on a community board, plus my experience from Community Board 8. Maybe I know too much, and that's why I'm not on community board. And that's why
you're not on the community board, because you're not a part of the system, and you're doing what you're doing right now. You're speaking the facts. When you come on here and you speak the statistics, that's not the word of Robert Press. That's the word of the statistics. That's reality. And a lot of people don't like to face the reality, and the person that's bringing out the reality, they shun you off. And I'm a person that speaks reality. So when they bring all these statistics up and try to put them across people, I know, because I'm actually out here on the street every day, and I know those statistics are false. You know, so I speak up against that. So we're going to be the people being shunned because we speak the truth.
Well, I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to show you a petition. This is how the petition was presented to me. All right. Would you sign for John Sicaro Jr.? And I said, well, why are you hiding the top? Who else is there? And people should be very careful when they sign a petition. They should know who is on that petition. Because
I'm signing up for. Yeah, they should know who they signing for, who the people are, where they're from, what community they at, and who live. Because we not slow. We all from the Bronx. So let's put it there. If somebody live on your block or live over here, we would know about it. None of these politicians live in our community because nobody from our family, none of our friends, nobody have came to us and said, yo, guess who live on my block? Guess who live in my community? Guess who I seen at the bus stop? Guess who I seen? These are things that's going to happen. We in New York City. You know,
well, I can tell you that I know that several of the elected officials, if not all of them, do live in the Bronx. I know Vanessa Gibson lives in Morris Park in my area. She votes in our area. I can't say, I can say that she lives here. I know that many of the council members
just because you heard they live there, have you seen them in your community? That's the whole thing. Just because you have an address in my community, that don't mean nothing. Are you a part of the community? Do you go out and go shopping in the community? Do the people know you and can knock on you like, oh, yo, they go such and such? You're not a part of the community.
Oh, no. I've seen our borough president Gibson, Vanessa Gibson.
Okay, I'm not going to knock
in our local pizza place here on Williamsburg Road. Okay, not once, but twice I've seen her come into the store, and she comes locally. She's here in Morris Park where I live.
Okay, well, I live in the area where we have Parrot Sanchez, who was born and raised in the community until she got elected. It's a no sighting to her. She's an MIA. You have Udoka Topia, who's over here, who's a no sighting to her. If you go around the corner from her office and ask the people that's next door to her in the barber shop if they know who she is, they'll say, no, I went in there and asked them. They do not know who she is. So if you're not making yourself known to the people that's next door to you, I know you're not making yourself known to the people that's extended to you.
Darnie, I know Udoka Tapia personally. She was a PA president of one of the schools where I was president of the district president's council. Udoka is a hard worker. Right now, they're up in Albany working on the budget, the assembly.
We have 14-year-olds getting killed in our community. We have 13-year-olds. We have 12 years old. So it's good she's working in Albany. Where's she working at where these kids is dying at? Because where these kids is dying at, I'm the person that's out there every day. When their parents come outside and say, what's going on, K-Born? Yo, how was going on? Or what's doing this? I don't see Udoka. When we out there giving out the pantry, 100 families every week, I don't see her. When it's crime and all this right around the corner, I don't see her. These people need to come from Albany and come into the community and where they was elected at and help us first and then branch out.
Well, right now they're up there Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and some part of Thursday, and they come back on the weekend. The city council right now is working almost 3, 4, 5 days a week on the budget hearings that the mayor wants to cut and the council wants to keep. So I can say that our Bronx people are working, who they're working for. I can agree with you because some of these laws that they've passed are crazy, like you say, where things are happening. And the governor shouldn't have to bring in the National Guard into the subway system.
Yeah, because they can't control it. They cannot control nothing because they got the wrong people in position and they funding the wrong people. We have effective programs right around the corner from where Udoka's office at. She have not visited that open street not one time. We've been there since June 5th last year. We have 100 families out there that's from the community because she don't depend on the community for her votes. She's going to go in her connection with Jamal Billy and all them, and they're going to come around there and they're going to automatically plan them votes. Them people that's voting for her is not from the community because nobody from the community know her. And the same thing go down with Parrot Sanchez. These are plant votes that they're getting from their committee, and they're bringing people to put in these votes. These are not the community. The community do not know these people. These people does nothing for the community. If they walk through the community, they're unknown. But these are the people that's getting elected.
As I said, I know Yudeka very well.
No, I mean, it's good that you know her, Rob, and I respect that. But the people that's from around the corner from her, that she's elected, that elected her, the people that's right next door to her, that own businesses, don't know her.
Well, I can tell you she's a hard worker. She's fought for the children when she was a PA president, and I'm sure she's fighting for the community as best she can. There's a lot involved in Albany that we don't know. Now, let me ask you, are you a Democrat still?
No, I'm a conservative party.
Why are you
part of the Democrat? The Democrats does nothing for us. I just finished telling you, it go down to Udelka, it go down to Jamal Billy, it go down to Vanessa Gibson, it goes all the way down to Parrot Sanchez. Kids is dying every day, and they're doing absolutely nothing as far as I'm concerned. I've been out here for 55 years, born and raised in the Bronx, and they don't have no connection to the Bronx. These are people that's come within the Bronx and think that they could put their own crew and control the Bronx, but you have no connection to the Bronx. I was born and raised in the Bronx. So they don't know what they're doing. And you can show by all the killing and crime that's happening. They don't know what they're doing in the Bronx.
Okay, I want to thank you for coming on K-Born. And as I said at the beginning of the show, all the opinions here are that of the host, the guest, or commentators who write down. As we see, Mr. AJ says Team Adriano Espiat plants.
Yes. That's what they are. That's what they are. And they all, because he's the chief of all of them, Espions. He's the chief of the castle, and all of them run right underneath him. And all of them that's underneath his shadow, no good, because none of them is producing nothing. And you can tell by the crime, the killing, and all the things that's happening within the Bronx.
Okay, well, let me close the show right now. I didn't get to rising sea levels, which is if you're on the beach, like in City Island or Rockaway or whatever, if you have, you're near water, it's going to rise. I'll try and get that in next week. And let me thank my guest, K-Born, Danny K-Born, for coming on. And let me say thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week on Talking Politics.
Do you know that there is a publishing company that wants to make life easier for you as a writer? This publishing company is called World Inkers Printing and Publishing. We publish in all different languages, and we're looking for writers of all genres, all formats. We're looking for scholars, ghostwriters, playwrights, poets, short fiction, novelists, you name it. We're looking for anybody who is interested in writing and the craft of writing to be in touch with us. You can reach us at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. With World Inkers Printing and Publishing, you do not require a lot of money to publish with us. Contact us today at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. Become a winner with other authors at World Inkers Printing and Publishing. Give us a shot. We will surely finish you.